Oh, it's that time once again. The knowledge whale returneth. Oh. Here are 50 amazing facts to blow your mind. Before we begin, today's video is sponsored by Factor. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your doorstep. Their team of gourmet chefs create each meal using only ingredients with integrity to help you feel your best all day long. Factor takes the stress out of meal planning and sets you up for success. Skip the groceries, prep work, and cooking fatigue. Instead, get chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals delivered right to your door. With over 35 meals to choose from per week, including options like keto, calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, plus more. Factor meals eliminate the hassle of prepping, cooking, or cleaning up. I've been eating their meals for a few weeks now, and it's really been helping me greatly in my fitness journey. It keeps me energized for my long runs and gym sessions. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code Matthew50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next month of orders. That's code Matthew50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month of orders. In recent years, dozens of North Korean ghost ships, often with deceased crew members on board, have washed up along the Japanese coast. Authors sometimes use a small member rule as a strategy to avoid defamation lawsuits. They give their characters small members as a way of preventing others from claiming that the character is based on their likeness. Kurt Lee, the first Chinese-American U.S. Marine Corps officer, yelled out orders in Mandarin Chinese to confuse opposing Chinese troops during the Battle of Incheon during the Korean War. In 2014, a Jamaican phone scammer threatened to kill a retired American man named William Webster when he wouldn't fall for a scam. The scammer didn't know that Webster was the former director of both the FBI and CIA. He was arrested when he flew to NYC in 2017 and was sentenced to 6 years in prison. The film Close Encounters of the Third Kind is shown every single night below the Devil's Tower KOA, rain or shine, making it one of the most screened movies ever. Olympians live 5 years longer on average than the general population. In 393 AD, the Roman Emperor Theodosius I banned the Olympic Games because he considered them to be a pagan festival, which had no place in his Christian country. They weren't held again until 1896. The first movie about the sinking of the Titanic premiered only 31 days after it sank and was written by an actress who survived the sinking, who also starred in it. She later had a nervous breakdown and never acted again. The Aztecs regarded childbirth as a form of battle. Women who died during childbirth were thought to rise to one of the highest heavens, the same one as male warriors who died in battle. The 1985 movie Clue, based on the popular board game, was filmed with 3 different possible endings. Different cinemas received different reels, so all 3 endings were showing simultaneously at different venues. The world record for the longest cutscene in gaming history is the epilogue cutscene in Metal Gear Solid 4, with a length of 71 minutes. Second place is the pre-final battle cutscene for the game Star Ocean: The Last Hope, with a length of 46 minutes. Seriously, who's gonna sit through that? That's like a whole movie, man. In 1966, an engineer with limited flying experience inadvertently took off in an English fighter jet after engaging the afterburner by mistake. In US politics, Republicans have been consistently red and Democrats blue only since the 2000 election. The New York Times made the choice because red begins with R, Republican begins with R. It used to be the elephant and the donkey, but nobody ever really brings that up much anymore. Zachary Taylor, the 12th president of the United States, died from a cherry overdose. On July 4th, 1850, Taylor reportedly consumed copious amounts of cherries and iced milk, causing him to die of cholera morbus. In 1818, an Englishman on trial demanded a trial by combat. Surprisingly, the law that allowed for trial by combat was still valid, and the man was acquitted when his accuser declined the offer of battle. Trial by combat was abolished the following year. Grain-based desserts such as cookies, cake, and pie are the #1 source of calories in the average American diet. That is very concerning. Howard Hughes once refused to leave a hotel room in Las Vegas. Instead of leaving, he decided to purchase the entire hotel. Hughes then expanded his holdings in the city, became the largest employer in Nevada, and was thought to be largely responsible for the modern transformation of Las Vegas. Adenosine is an organic compound that, when injected, actually stops the heart for a few seconds and is used to treat heartbeats that are too fast, for example 140 to 250 beats per minute. In effect, it turns the heart off and on again. The next level after trust fund is a dynasty trust, which can run in perpetuity. However, in Wyoming, dynasty trusts can only last 1,000 years. They were created to ensure wealth stays in the family for as long as possible. It took 51 years and 3 amateurs to solve a particular cipher sent by the Zodiac Killer. The longest javelin throw was 99.52 meters using a now illegal technique that was considered out of control. No one has broken the record with modern javelin rules since. The Inca ruins in Peru were built in the 14th century with limestone blocks whose weight varies from 128 to 200 tons. These stones were moved from an estimated 22 miles away. The stones are so precisely spaced that a single piece of paper will not fit in between many of them. The inverted cross, mostly associated with satanic and anti-Christian imagery, is actually the symbol of St. Peter's martyrdom, one of the 12 apostles of Jesus. Adding a new road to a traffic network can sometimes make everyone's commute longer due to the Breas' paradox. In 2020, Burger King ran an advertising campaign featuring a picture of a moldy Whopper to prove that their burgers are made without preservatives. This unconventional advertising method worked, increasing sales by 14%. The first actor to ever earn $1 million salary for a single film is Elizabeth Taylor for Cleopatra in 1963. She also secured 10% of the gross profits and add-ons if the film ran over, which it did. In total, she earned around $7 million for the movie, which is around $69 million in 2023 money. The Allies fielded thousands of tanks by the end of World War I, a major technological breakthrough. The Germans deployed just 18. A new ligament in the human knee was discovered in 2013 called the anterolateral ligament. The current world record holder for the men's marathon, Kelvin Kiptum Cheriot, died at only 24. 18th century Norwegian swashbuckler Peden Tordenskjold once ran out of ammo during a sea battle, so he sent his enemy a letter thanking him for a fine duel and asking him to send more ammo so they could carry it on. The two crews then toasted to each other's health and went their separate ways. The Christian portrayal of the fruit that Eve ate as an apple may have actually come down to a Latin pun. Eve ate a malum, which is an apple, and also took in malum, which is evil. There's no actual biblical evidence that the fruit was an apple. The bowler hat is the most popular headgear being worn by cowboys and outlaws alike in the Wild West, and it wasn't until the 1920s that the 10-gallon hat was popularized by Hollywood. Before Washington, D.C. became the capital of the U.S., George Washington and John Adams lived in the President's House in Philadelphia during their presidencies. Due to confusion over its location, it was accidentally demolished in 1951. A public toilet was built over the site where it once stood. In a 2022 survey by FlexJobs, 45% of remote workers reported saving at least $5,000 annually, and 1 in 5 remote workers estimated saving $10,000 a year. Bridesmaids traditionally wear almost the exact same thing as the bride to confuse bandits and evil spirits who wish harm on her. Jeff Koons, the American artist, has a studio that resembles an art factory. He doesn't do much of the sculpting or much of the painting in his artwork. It's his ideas and standards, but the artisans do the labor. In 2019, his stainless steel inflatable rabbit resold for $91 million. That was the highest ever paid at auction for a work by a living artist. Philadelphia cream cheese is produced in New York, and it's always been since it was invented by William Lawrence in 1872. He named his company Philadelphia to market off the city's reputation for high-quality dairy products. Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer attempted to erase Gaslight from 1940 from existence as to prevent it from competing with the remake of Gaslight when it was eventually released in 1944. It's physically impossible to sink entirely in quicksand because humans are way less dense. In 1983, scientists created a machine that temporarily allowed people to see new colors outside of the regular color space. Because of naval tradition, submarines are usually referred to as boats rather than ships, regardless of their size. Both Michael Jackson and Rihanna got sued for their use of the sample Mama Say Mama Sa Mamakusa. They use it in their songs Wanna Be Startin' Something and Please Don't Stop the Music respectively. It was a hook that was inspired by Cameroonian singer Manu Dibango in his 1972 song Soul Makossa. The distributor for the movie Snowpiercer from 2013 requested that a scene involving a fish be removed, but director Bong Joon-ho convinced them to keep it in by lying about his father being a fisherman and claiming that the scene was dedicated to him. Bong's father was never a fisherman. Michael Phelps has won a record 23 Olympic gold medals. No other Olympian has won more than 9. The rent in the German town of Fugarai hasn't been raised in 500 years and remains at 0.88 euros for an entire year. In an early draft of The Simpsons episode Homer at the Bat, Jose Canseco missed the big game at the end because he was having an affair with Miss Krabappel. The real Canseco objected to this, so the finished episode has him missing the game for a more heroic reason. In 2008, Chile minted tons of 50 peso coins that misspelled the name of their country as Chile with 2 I's. No one noticed until 2009, and the person responsible was fired. At least 1/3 of the US cycling team in the 1984 LA Olympics were doped using a process called blood doping. The American cycling team won 9 medals. Muhammad Ali once appeared in a DC comic book. He knocked out Superman to save him from aliens. Usain Bolt's world record in the 100-meter sprint has stood for 15 years, which is longer than anyone has held the record in history. There was a study done in China that explores why 317 million female gamers there made romance games popular. The results show that it was due to strong parasocial interactions led by more romantic feelings toward the fictional characters among under 30-year-old females. Around 40% of people have never had a nosebleed. And that's it. 50 Amazing Facts is back. If you guys are happy about it, leave a like on this video, leave a comment, and of course share it if you really enjoyed it. And be sure to follow me on all the socials. Links are in the description. And other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.